Into the next Ag Appraisal Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just the professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of snow this morning. Becoming partly sunny and windy. The rest of the day, we'll see a high around 36. Tonight, mainly clear skies with an overnight low around 18. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies return. An afternoon high around 48. I'm meteorologist Kyle Cutter for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
Okay, it's time to sell the house. How do we even begin to choose from the hundreds of realtors in town?
Easy. We make a pros list.
You mean a pros and cons list?
No, just a pros list. We need someone with pro photography to showcase the house in the best possible way, pro marketing to make sure we get maximum exposure, pro negotiations so we know we get the best price.
This is one of those times where you already know the right answer, isn't it?
You know it is. Ben Bleicher and Professional Realty Group.
Contact Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's Home Services Ambassador. Online at prg-ne.com.
For over 15 years, Integrated Life Choices has empowered individuals with disabilities in Lincoln and throughout Nebraska. They provide comprehensive services from group homes and independent living services to job training, ensuring fulfilling lives for those that they serve. Now, they're inviting you to join their mission. If you're passionate about making a difference in the lives of people with developmental disabilities, explore rewarding career opportunities with them. Learn more about their services and apply today at www.ilc.net. Be a part of Integrated Life Choices, where your work truly changes lives.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is the Don't Punt Hour with former Nebraska receiver.
Throwing over the middle, completes the pass. He's got speed to the end zone. Touchdown. 45 yards.
And return specialist.
This time he beats the kicker and one more.
DeMornay Pierson-El.
Not only does the sideline have confidence in Pierson-El, but Pierson-El has confidence in Pierson-El.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into Ticket Weeknights. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos as always. Once 6 o'clock hits, we just got done with our replay of speed and power because again, no outside the box tonight as they got an early game tomorrow morning at the Ice Box. versus Omaha. So if you want to support the Lincoln Stars, be sure 11 a.m. early game tomorrow morning. But again, they don't get a whole games left. They got a good stretch here at the Icebox, but the season is coming to a close. April 12th, if you haven't been to a Stars game, can't recommend it enough. And April 12th is that last home game stand. So if you haven't checked out the Stars, you still got some time to do so, and they're kind of on the fringe playoff team. So be sure to check them out. But let's go ahead and bring them in. The host, as always, good morning, Pierson-El. I'm going to try to stop saying it, but it's a cold Tuesday night, man. How's it going?
I'm ready to move.
I'm right there with you. I'm so tired of this. But outside the weather, there's been some more rule changes in the NFL. I think we just got to go ahead and start there. I'm sure you've seen the new kickoff, saw how they did the XFL. We talked about the hip drop tackle. We're losing a lot of physicality, it feels like, in the past 2 days. Your initial thoughts?
They're making it easier for guys like me that are return specialist guys to make a team. The return game has kind of been a diminished, art in the game. You probably have maybe about 3 to 5, returns a year. But they're game changers if they come at the right time. Look at what happened, with the Texans and the Ravens. They got started, with a punt return touchdown. So you're making it harder. I get that you want to, the concussion and running the smashing into people and whatnot. Let's get the fields done. Like that's they don't want to do that because it's losing money. It's easier for them to have that because there's always, other players to come involved. But I don't like it.
I think it's all just about offense. I think that's where this whole thing's going. You look at these rule changes. We mentioned it yesterday. Maybe that's part of it that's player safety, but it's damn sure not all of it. You would stop talking about extending the NFL regular season. You would just put in real grass fields. There's times where if they have a Premier League soccer team use one of those stadiums, they will take out the turf, put in grass, and then make sure before the NFL football players get back out there. Yeah, back to turf. Makes no sense in the world why they have to. I know it costs a little bit more, but the NFL, we've said it before, 98 out of 100 broadcasts, 98 of them in the top 100 were NFL games. They got more than enough money that if player safety is a massive factor in these rule changes, there should be other things outside of these rule changes that are happening. That
they update the equipment, every 5 years, like the Antonio Brown helmet situation a couple years ago. Oh, the helmet is outdated. Okay, well, you snap and you get on a player because you can make money with finding him because he's not complying, with rules and whatnot, but you don't want to take care of the overall product. It's crazy. But you preach safety. Oh, you preach, new technologies, with helmet safety, shoulder pads and stuff like that. But yet the one thing that is essential, the grass that they play on is not a real surface. Yeah, they haven't thought about that one. That's moving in the right direction.
That seems like round one for me. I know it's probably not the most interesting conversation. 402-464-5685. If you're fired up about real grass and turf, feel free to chime in. But it is just such a stupid problem to have when you hear that just about. I mean, did you have any NFL players or even college football players that preferred turf over grass, or is it a unanimous give us a grass field?
I can't per se put a finger on somebody who wanted turf over grass. I mean, everybody's pretty much said grass.
And that's my point. Like, it's unanimous by the players. They want it. It makes sense. You're on turf that doesn't got a whole lot of give to it. So everything that you're putting down, shooting right back up. And I feel like that's why you see a lot of these, like when Greenlaw coming off the sideline. I don't know if it's different if there's grass, but I just think over and over
because they can crunch numbers to make certain things happen and whatnot, but those non-contact injuries, I want to see the statistic of when they happen on grass versus when they happen on turf, and which one they won't put out that number, but I know somebody has it charted out there somewhere or whatnot. To kind of see, because I know that's something that they've paid attention to. So how long before you necessarily, not get that from happening or whatnot?
Yeah, it just, I feel like it's a matter of time that someone eventually down the road will kind of force their hand in doing something like that. But it's got to be almost as strong as a union as what the NBA's had in years past, where they can really put their foot down and try to make some changes happen. Adam Silver, a lot more player friendly. He kind of opened the door for that union.
He's for the players. Goodell is not.
Yep, exactly. And I think that's the biggest problem. At some point, someone's going to have to get in his ear and get some of this stuff changed. But let's go ahead and just talk about the new kickoff rule. For any of those that are curious, we'll just break it down for you. If you've seen XFL last year, you kind of know what we're talking about. Under the new rule, 10 players on the kicking team and at least 9 players on the receiving team will line up just 5 yards apart, and they won't begin running. And that's the key part. They won't begin running until the ball gets the returner, meaning players won't be going full speed when they crash into each other, which, quote, caused so many injuries on kickoffs in years past. And this is from Pro Football Talk on NBC that I'm citing right here. Of the 22 players on the field, only the kicker and 1 or 2 kickoff returners will line up separately from those players who are 5 yards apart. It just feels like it's just going to be explosive. I mean, the odds for explosive plays go up exponentially, right? Like it just feels like you get one good hole and you're gone.
Again, like they're changing the game. I've been in the XFL with that rule. It's different. There's still going to be collisions. They're still going to get hurt. So I mean, I don't know. Like I said, they're sooner or later, you know, specialist guys or guys who, for instance, the guy who made the Jets returner.
Mm-hmm.
He was an undrafted free agent guy. He made the team pretty much, you know, I mean, he worked his butt off and everything like that. But he was a return guy. You might not see those stories necessarily like that. They might just go get a vet just to catch it because, you're the safe bet. You know, we know you can do it and whatnot. So is it exciting? Has anybody said anything about the kickoffs in the XFL or anything like that? No.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
It's not. I mean, which one's worse? You're not a fan of either of those rule changes, the hip drop or the kickoff. Which one gets under your skin more?
The hip drop.
I'm with you there. I'm still on the side that the defensive players, it's beginning incredibly hard for them to do anything right out there. Not only if you're on a receiver, we see what the corners and safeties have to deal with and how many flags Mahomes gets just for kind of airing that thing out, Josh Allen. And then now they have to eliminate that as well with the hip drop tackle. Again, I wish I could get better numbers as to how they just keep saying 25 times more likely to get hurt than any other tackle. I'd love to get, an actual numbers on what those injuries per tackle. What are you drawing that from? But again, I'm not necessarily a massive fan. The kickoff one doesn't bother me as much just because we have gotten into an era of just touchback after touchback after touchback. So maybe that adds a little bit of excitement. But this is a trial year. So do you think they'll stick with it in 2025-26? Because they're going to give a shot this year. And if they like the results, they will keep it. If not, it is a 1-year trial only.
I don't know. That's hard to say. It depends. They've gotten rid of the wedges in the back end on returns and whatnot. So we'll see what they can do with double team blocks and crackback blocks and everything like that to make things, I guess, more safe or whatnot. You're still putting people in a compromised position. They're running 15 yards in between and still might get their head taken off by, a double team. So did you really solve anything? I don't know. So, I mean, we'll see. I don't think it'll stick. But I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think it's going to stick, unfortunately. I think if they get more offense, which is what I keep drawing back to, I think it's all about how can we have bigger scores, more offense, because last season was a little bit more of a defensive showcase. Even though the numbers were fine, the NFL just seems to always think they can do better if they allow more and more offense. I don't understand it. Do you feel like we're kind of getting away from the NFL that everybody used to love? Is there a real pressure here for the NFL to get this right? Because if there's one thing with the NFL, it just doesn't seem to really matter. Even though I'm kind of against these, I know I'm going to be watching these NFL games next season. How much?
The NFL is going to in a few years or so, the NFL is going to be in trouble. And honestly, They're lucky, Marvin Harrison Jr. decided to leave instead of staying. You got NIL deals and everything like that where kids can make more money or close to, some of those first round draft picks money in college. So, excuse me, I think, college will be a little bit more competitive. College has always been funner than, the NFL and everything like that. So I think they'll have their hands with competing with that. And we'll see how things go. But I mean, I can tell you, like, a lot of dudes, have issues and whatnot because you get fined for the littlest, simplest things. And at some point in time, something's gonna have to change. And I mean, you'd be surprised with stuff that they'll find things to fine you for.
Yeah, we talked about that. You even got the guy, what's his name? Who's the guy with the flag? Or I can't remember. You informed me someone's checking your shoes.
Oh, the fine guy. Yeah.
The fine guy.
He has a little vest on. He goes out pre-workout, pre-warm-ups and whatnot. Y'all might not see him or you might not realize who he is, but he's definitely there. Each team will get warned and of guys of what they need to change beforehand. The only time I think they don't is when, like I said, like, the Christmas games or the my calls, my cleats stuff.
Did you ever get a talking with the fine guy, or were you scot-free on that?
No. I had to change some things a couple times.
How small of things are we talking about? Because I do think that's another
my
thing.
My shirt was too long. My towel was too long. My ankles were showing. My knees were showing too much skin. I'm like, what are you talking about?
It just feels like a crazy world where we're taking the personality away.
My undershirt didn't match the color of my jersey, so I had to change it or it would have been a fine.
And I'm sure that undershirt was probably just barely showing. That anybody watching the game probably would have had hard time even picking it out that your undershirt was a slightly different shade of color.
Different colors, different gloves and whatnot. You can't wear, like crazy gloves or anything like that. That's why if you watch and pay attention to the glove, the color of the gloves that they'll get will be the colors of the team. Like if you say you're the Chiefs, you can't wear, green gloves. Like
right.
Like there. So it's the not fun league for a reason.
Yeah, facts there. And I keep worrying about the NFL. They're lucky that the NBA isn't doing what they were when they had the Magic and Bird era. I think there's just legitimately no one that's challenging the NFL right now. But is it fair to say that the NFL is kind of heading down what the NBA has gone, offense, and people, quote unquote, didn't want to see a bunch of 82, 85 scores. Now we're seeing 130, 140, and that's not making people happy either.
I think that's a little bit different just because there's more physicality with football. I think college football is going to give it its money with this March Madness style playoff type thing. I think that is kind of going to revamp things and whatnot and give, the only thing that the NFL probably has on college football is that they go longer. Their period of time to where at some point in time, everybody's going to turn on football, period. So, I mean, you can't defeat that. But there's not as much physicality with basketball. So I don't think, the NFL will be going down that road or is close to going to that. I think they're still trying to sell the product and, make it as exciting and scoring as it can be.
Yeah. And then, I guess that's kind of where I'm at. It just feels like the NBA just wanted to focus so much on offense that the game is so much different than what it used to be. And when I'm kind of comparing the two, that's what I mean by the NFL. It just feels like the NFL is so focused. Because, again, I'm going to keep repeating it. I'm not buying this is for player safety. I'm just not buying that at all. There's so many other things you could have done before massive rule changes to actually fix or patch or nullify some of that problem. So this is more often.
Another question I have, what does all the money that the players get fined? Because it's supposed to go to charities, and I'm not saying it's not going. But has anybody, fact checked that for sure?
That'd be a good reporter's job right there.
So
where does the money go?
I mean, they've said it's supposed to go to, charities of the choosing of athletes and everything like that. But does that happen all the time?
I mean, how much are we talking numbers wise too? And fines? Like, I'm going to I'm gonna Google it while you try to take the average team, how much they get fined.
A whole game check, $15K, $20K, $30K. It's a hefty fine.
Let's see. Yeah, we're just trying to go through some of the fines here. Trying to find an average here. Maybe I can get that on the other side.
Depending on how malicious it is.
Yeah, so fines are collected and donated to both the Professional Athletes Foundation, which supporters from the NFL, players and their families, and the NFL Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to improving the lives and well-being of football players across all levels. So that's kind of the quote-unquote charity.
You can say that. Saying it is one thing. Actually doing and proving it is another.
Yeah, and it's a lot of money that we're talking about here. And if that's the case, it would be nice. I might try to dig in on that for a little bit. But in the meantime, I want to talk about NBA later and Luka Doncic and this MVP race, because I will say I think Luka might be one of the best players that nobody gives a damn about. Luka is incredible. His numbers are insane this year. I was big on the Jokic camp, and I still think it's Jokic 1, but Luka, anything below 2 seems incredibly disrespectful. So I want to talk about it on the next segment. But we do have some audio clips from Troy Dannon as well that I want to play, because he had his introductory press conference today. Obviously, the new AD coming from Washington. And I know your initial thoughts. You think he's got experience? As we're still kind of feel out period, trying to figure out, again, pretty quick turnaround out of Washington. It's kind of the same thing we got mad at Trev Alberts for. So there's something to be wary of. But here is Troy Dannon and him talking about Nebraska and kind of his goals on wanting to get Nebraska in a big-time bowl game. Here's Troy Dannon, the new AD for Nebraska.
We're managing to get in the 12. I mean, and one thing Coach and I have talked about is how do we get into the 12? I love the expanded playoff. 4, 6, 8, 12. Everybody in the 12 will walk into this thing thinking they have a chance to win the whole thing. And I think it's going to be great for the game. The one thing I will just tell you I worry about, I do want to make sure that the 133 schools that play FBS football, we're all chasing the same trophy. And those who, whether it's financial wherewithal or from governance or whatever else, fall away from that ability. College football it's professional football and college football has an outsized role in society. I don't want to lose that. I want the game to be healthy. I don't want just us to be healthy, and I don't want just the Big Ten to be healthy. But we all have a responsibility to the good of the game. And I can't tell you exactly how that manifests itself going forward, but it is important. I think the 12-team playoff will actually be good for the game, good for the whole.
So there's Troy Dannon. They're kind of asking him about bowl games, and he's talking kind of already big picture. The goal is 12. Be in the top 12 regardless. And he kind of went on towards the end there, kind of talking about, despite, NIL governance, however it might be, just kind of about the health of the game too, and what this 12-team playoff bracket is going to be able to do for college football. So that's Troy Dannon, kind of just some early quotes. We might play some more as we got time for it. But what are your thoughts just on his take on this 12-team playoff bracket, and just the thought right away as this new AD that is the goal? We got to be a top 12 team. I don't care if it's even next season.
Clearly he's in on it, and I think it helps, with the position of what they've been kind of in, last year especially, and I want to say it may have not been the year before last year or whatnot, but where they have something similar to what Texas being in instead of Florida State and whatnot. So I think they hit it right on that. Mm-hmm. Of course, to hit on that and saying everything like that. I mean, he's, being what he's saying what he's supposed to say.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's nothing really that you can take away from that. It's like, oh yeah, like you stated facts.
Yeah.
Like, you stated somewhat of an opinion. Okay, that's fine and dandy. And people can say, oh, well, he, built up Washington and whatnot. I don't know about that. The
you coach he had a share, but definitely not him solely.
How long was he the AD at Washington?
Not even a year.
Okay, so how long was the coach there at Washington?
Oh man, the coach. Let's look it up.
I think that was his third year at Washington.
Yeah, I want to say it might have been 4. I think 3 or 4 years, but
regardless. So Washington was already built, established before he came there. Now, what necessarily did he do so much differently to push Washington over the edge when Washington, had what they wanted? I'm not trying to discredit him. I'm just saying, how many places can you go to where your AD is walking the halls every day of your football program? Like that's not where you're gonna sign him at. So I mean, him being a part of the university doesn't help the day-to-day with football.
Yeah, it's curious. I want to it's tough to get a feel for these ADs because we have gone from Bill Moose. I'm gonna kind of do it behind closed doors. Then we go from Trav Alberts. I'm very upfront in person. Say hi to me. I'm gonna be there at the Big Ten tournament, except for when I'm down at the College Station interviewing for the A&M job while my girls basketball is in the Big Ten championship. Still not happy with that decision, but he does appear that I think is going to be more in front kind of AD.
Yeah.
Time will tell. But that is one thing with ADs, as we've learned. Time's going to tell how good he is at his job, especially with the interims we have in place as of now. We have good coaches. We got to kind of get some ideas. We talked about Dr. Gold for the president possibly, but there's still some gaps. So he's going to already have a pretty big role, and I'm going to be curious to see how he handles it. And again, we might play some more clips going forward, but I definitely got to talk about Luka Doncic in the NBA. So we'll go ahead and throw it to break here. This is the Don't Punt Hour. DeMarty Pierson-El streaming in, the host as always. If you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685, Starter Heyman text line, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Allo channel 961. Great way to put a face to the voice. We'll throw it to break. Talk to you guys in just a little bit.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
The Omaha Supernovas are back in action this Thursday, March 28th versus the Grand Rapids Rise at CHI Health Center in Omaha. The Mullen Motors pregame show with Derek Pearson and Renee Saunders starts at 6 p.m. with first serve at 7. Make sure to tune in to the next Ag Appraisal and Realty postgame show right after the match ends. Catch all the action on your flagship station, 93.7 The Ticket, and statewide on the Supernovas Radio Network.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see a chance of snow this morning. Becoming partly sunny and windy. The rest of the day, we'll see a high around 36. Tonight, mainly clear skies with an overnight low around 18. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies return, an afternoon high around 48. I'm meteorologist Kyle Cutter for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Life is all about balance. So how about a little sweet and a little heat to make your week? At Wings and Rings, we're introducing our all-new Hot Honey menu for the month of March. Try our one-of-a-kind house-made sauce on the brand-new Hot Honey chicken sandwich or our Hot Honey shrimp and slaw. And of course, you can get it on the traditional boneless or smoked wings that have made Wings and Rings your go-to neighborhood spot. But don't wait, Hot Honey is only here until April 1st. So stop by Wings and Rings at one of our 2 Lincoln locations today, on O Street and on Village Lane.
Early break with Sip and Shake.
We do not go quietly in the night on early break. We don't, and we won't.
Is that our motto now? Is that our new show motto? Look at that. We let you have that moment. Yes.
We won't.
We won't.
We don't.
We
won't. It's our new one. Yeah, I'm getting a t-shirt.
But we don't go quietly in the night. We voice.
Early Break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Now, to tie it back to Nebraska men's basketball, this group has a chance to do something that hasn't been done before.
Yeah.
In making a run in the Big Ten tournament, a serious run, and winning the first NCAA tournament game, but they're not going to get there by doing the same things they've always done. It is on this team to step up and change that narrative. It won't change on its own. Teams won't lay over for you, and that's the mindset shift we haven't consistently seen yet.
Weekdays from 2 to 4 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now. In our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, DeMornay Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back into the Don't Punt Hour. Once again, Harrison Arns on the ones and twos, as always, back at the 1040 Ticket Studios. We got the host, DeMornay Pierson-El, streaming in. And if you guys want to join in, 402-464-5685, Starter Heyman text line. We did have one over the break. Unknown texter says the NFL is getting softer by the day. And kind of agrees with me. Yeah, agreed. We've kind of talked about it before. I don't know how much more we can get into it. I'm just still on the fact that the NFL wants more offense, and that's what these rule changes is about. Offense. I think you and me, not big fans of either of the new rule changes. Real quick, though.
A lot of people.
Yeah, that's better said. A lot of people. Real quick, before we do dive into the NBA, though, I heard this from Jay Foreman. I thought it was an interesting point. He obviously former NFL player, and he was okay with banning the hip drop tackle because he thinks that play is becoming more and more frequent as a result of players lacking fundamentals and being able to properly take a guy down. What are your thoughts on that? Because this play hasn't just happened in these past few years. It's always been happening, but it has been on the uptick on how many times you see it.
That's his opinion of it.
Okay.
I'm not saying he's wrong or what he says is terrible or whatnot, but I could see why he would say that. I think it's a easier method where guys don't have to get fined for hitting somebody or horse collaring somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's probably, a substitution of getting, somebody on the ground the best way possible.
Yeah, it is kind of funny.
I wouldn't call it lazy or bad fundamentals and everything like that. I think it's a conscious decision of like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and it might not be intentionally to hurt somebody, but their defense is playing football with almost both their hands tied behind their backs. So what more do you want from somebody on that side of the ball to do?
Well, we're talking about the fines earlier, and it's funny you mentioned that because it does feel like these defenders are going to get to a point. It's like, if I don't tackle him the perfect way I'm supposed to, I'm going to get a fine in my locker. before the game's over. It just feels like the defenders, the chance for those guys to get stupid fines, possibly ejected from the game off of a targeting call, which I'll be honest, they still haven't figured out the targeting. It gets incredibly frustrating. They haven't figured it out in college. They haven't figured it out in the NFL. It's a good rule, but get it organized. You got to get rid of the unintentional targeting. I hate when I see a guy.
If they get rid of the unintentional like hittings, targeting would be perfectly fine.
Yes.
But who's going to do that?
Well, especially when you see like a quarterback slide, the DB, safety, linebacker, whoever's coming downhill doesn't see it, and it's the last second they slid on me and I went down.
And they slide into position. That's not on the defensive player at all. Like the offense shouldn't get rewarded for that.
I'm with you, especially in college football. And
if you're gonna go down sooner. Give yourself up. Just stop trying. If not, then take the consequences of getting hit.
Mm-hmm. They need to do that more, because I will say you saw it with Kenny Pickett, and they got him on the fake slide. But you see a lot of times these quarterbacks they're crafty. They know how to bait you into thinking they're gonna slide without doing the full on Kenny Pickett half slide. But they're tricky with that. And then you have these defenders already on eggshells, thinking about a fine in the back of their head. And if that guy slides, unintentional targeting, they're out. And it bothers me more in college football because those games are so limited and valuable. When you're taking college kids, if it's intentional, I get it. If it's unintentional and it's a late slide by the QB wide receiver, it drives me insane having to watch kids sit out for something that could have happened to literally anybody out there. It was just unfortunate timing. But with that being said, I mean, that's where I'm at with the NFL. I think you agree with me. It's about offense, not about player safety. And we'll see where it goes. If they keep this new kickoff rule, again, it is only a trial year, but the hip drop, that's there to stay. So it's going to be interesting to watch officials try to add another thing to watch in their game with these wide receivers and DBs. They better get a pay raise on top of it, because it's getting tough for those guys. They're going to be hated just about after every game with how many calls can go the wrong way as these just keep getting built in there. With that being said, let's switch it over to the NBA. I'll just start with this. DPE in the NBA, who is your MVP front runner right now? And then I'll go ahead and give you the NBA's after you answer.
I feel like it's still too early to say that. Like
a post All-Star break, it's getting close. We're getting close to playoffs.
I feel like maybe another couple of weeks. Maybe I mean I guess you could say Joker. I mean,
yeah.
Obviously, I mean he's still playing crazy. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. So go ahead and lay it on me who it is.
Good pick. Joker, number one in the NBA, currently leading it with 26.1 points per game, 12.3 rebounds. So solid double-double on night, a plus 20-point double-double at that, and 9 assists. He's almost a walking triple-double on average. In some of those games, if he really wants to get to triple-double,
he can.
He'll flat out do that. He just had a 30, 14, and 11 performance against New York that snapped the Knicks 4-game winning streak. So Jokic, just an absolute killer out there. At number 2, they got SGA, that's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander out of the OKC Thunder. He's averaging 30 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, 6.4.
He's been balling.
I'm okay with that one, but not Luka, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Tied for third, they got Giannis Antetokounmpo and Luka. They're down there tied for 3, and then they got Tatum at 5, which makes me happy because they had Tatum above Luka.
I was thinking of Tatum, but I was like, I didn't want to be wrong and seem like I was. So I was like, let me hold on to that. That's what I really wanted to say, and I was like, nah, I might be tripping.
No, he's got a chance. There's not a ton of games left. I think that it's still about upper 18s, but they are getting close to that 82 mark. Giannis, he's averaging 30 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. And Luka, the guy that is not.
I'm tired of seeing Giannis.
He's not that intriguing to watch. I'll be honest. He's
I'm over it. Like,
yeah, just a freak athlete. The Greek freak. It's very fitting for him. Like, you don't want to play him, but I don't see anything outside of his realm that makes him that much better other than the athleticism, which credit to him. You take care of your body. That's your reward, right? You get to be a freak athlete. So nothing against Giannis. But when you watch a guy like Luka, who's tied with him, Luka right now is averaging 34.1 points per game, 10 rebounds, and about 10 assists, 9.8. He's also a walking triple-double. And he has been, just because the Mavericks, I feel like, aren't that high up in the standings, they're killing him for it. But he should be 2 bare minimum. You can argue Jokic and Luka, but why did we give it to Russell Westbrook for being the triple-double king? Why would we give it to a James Harden? Why would we give it, to a Steve Nash that one? We don't always have to give it to the winner.
I feel like each year they change it from what you might think or what it should be or where they chose from the previous year.
How much should it matter on you and how much a winning team you are? How much do you factor that in if you are giving, 40 points a game, 12 assists, 10 rebounds, but your team's the bottom third in the East or West? Do you factor that in to being an MVP? Do you have to be plus 500 and then some if you want to hold on to that award?
I mean, because at that point, if you're on the worst team ever and you don't have no help, like, are you really that valuable?
It's fair. It's a fair argument. But my only problem is, if you want to go that way, Russell Westbrook doesn't get the MVP. James Harden doesn't get an MVP. There's plenty of players out there that you rip that MVP away from.
Won the MVP on weaker teams. Yep. I don't think that should be a factor. More so like, what's contribute like to the game. Not just solely like on a stat level. But your stats definitely have to be definitely at least like top 3 in the league.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I just think, because say you are on a bad team, that means you're the only guy they have to stop, and you're still putting up big numbers. Luka is the guy they have to stop, and he's still putting up insane numbers. Like, let's just go through some of these games from Luka. Last night, 25th, he had 29 points on 10 of 24 shooting, 12 rebounds, 13 assists. Easy triple-double yesterday. The 21st, 34 points, 11 for 23, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 steals. Let's put 4 steals in there as well. Why not? 19th, the Spurs. Low-scoring game, if you want to call it that. 18 points, 10 rebounds, 16 assists, and a couple steals as well. The Nuggets, that was on the 17th. 37 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, a couple steals as well.
I got a question for you.
Go for it.
When they look at MVP, is it the whole season, or is it after the All-Star break at some point in time if you just catching hot, or a little bit like before All-Star break to like middle of the season to end? Because if you just get hot, the end of the season, does that qualify you? And I know they said 82 games and everything like that, but as you get into closer to the All-Star game and whatnot, your numbers just go through the roof. Is that considered MVP stuff because you're not doing it the whole season, or you just started to like going off to really get in that level?
I'll answer it this way. I don't look at game 1 and game 82 any differently. It's a regular season award. You're gifted on the MVP because you got your team the best chance possible with your ability for a good playoff seed. Even if that doesn't quote unquote happen because your surrounding cast isn't as good, from day one, you were good enough to give your team an opportunity to go ahead and climb the rankings with big numbers, whatever it may be. It is a regular season award thin and through. So game 1 to game 82, I'm counting all of that. And Luka, he's been hot right now, but he was pretty solid early on in the season too. He was still just as scary. This last stretch, I just wanted to mention because, the guy's just been on a burner since March 5th where he drops near 39. It's just been 39, 35, 39. Like, he's just going on an absolute flamethrower. But it was like that earlier on too. So I think you got to look at it as the whole season. And again, this is where I get mad with the narratives, because if you want to go with the whole season, you kind of look at the Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic. Joel Embiid always seems to get hot at the end when the Nuggets have a 1 seed locked up in place, and everyone's like, oh, Embiid. Last year, I disagree with it, but I felt like they almost got caught by that narrative again with Joel Embiid. What are your thoughts on it? Is it a regular season, game 1, game 82, all matter the same, or do you look at that post All-Star break as?
I think it's well, what are you doing now and lately? Like, yes, they account for the whole season, but I would say a little bit maybe before All-Star break and after All-Star break, like your numbers got to start, climbing and going off. Now you hot. Now you're a trending topic, or you doing something this. Everybody, has your name in your mouth and everything like that. And I think that is what influences them a little bit more, because it's like it's hard to keep you out of the limelight.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, they'll fact check it. Well, what was his numbers? At the beginning of the season, averaging 27, averaging 28. All right, well, that's not that bad. Then, the rest of the season, he averaging 35. He averaging, 30, or he averaging, whatever. And it's like, oh, okay. But he got, a couple 40 games, a 50 piece, and X, Y, and Z, or every 2 games he's averaging, triple doubles. He's averaging double doubles every game. So I think they can fit the narrative, but I feel like once you get hot on the second half of the season, I think is when the MVP stuff will be crowned.
Fair. And if there's one thing I know we can agree on, DeMarne Pierson-El, is that our takes, as much as pride if we can put in them, they probably don't matter a lot, because if there's one thing the MVP has shown, NFL, NBA, NHL seems to be a lot better at it. MLB, you can argue, incredibly inconsistent on who the MVP is. It feels totally narrative based, and that's why I wanted to shout out Luka, because Luka is number 2, if not number 1. Him any lower to me is just crazy. You just haven't been watching the Mavericks, and you're purely looking at their win-loss total and just thinking, Luka must be just taking all the shots, being a ball hog. That's why they're not winning. No, Luka's been incredible. He is anything but the reason they're not higher up there. So I want to give him his flowers. And again, 402-464-5685. If you got your MVP pick, who you think it should be, who you like in the odds, feel free to chime in. But we'll throw it to our last break here on the Don't Punt Hour. Shout out to DeMarne Pierson-El, streaming in, host as always. We'll go to break and talk to you guys in just a little bit.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $23 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
High schoolers, unleash your creativity and learn about potential careers in broadcasting at the Digital Expressions Media Camp. Have fun, make friends, and get hands-on experience with video and radio production, June 9th through the 14th at the University of Nebraska at Kearney. Scholarships are available from the Nebraska Broadcasters Association, and spots are limited. Learn more at digitalexpressionscamp.com. That's digitalexpressionscamp.com.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Life is all about balance, so how about a little sweet and a little heat to make your week? At Wings and Rings, we're introducing our all-new Hot Honey menu for the month of March. Try our one-of-a-kind house-made sauce on the brand-new Hot Honey chicken sandwich or our Hot Honey shrimp and slaw. And of course, you can get it on the traditional boneless or smoked wings that have made Wings and Rings your go-to neighborhood spot. But don't wait, Hot Honey is only here until April 1st. So stop by Wings and Rings at one of our 2 Lincoln locations today, on O Street and on Village Lane.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Introducing The Outlet by Sartor Heyman. The Outlet brings you luxurious Sartor Heyman quality jewelry at unbeatable prices. Shop our expansive inventory of overstocked merchandise and a vast estate collection that just hasn't found its home yet. This is your chance to own stunning designer jewelry at a fraction of the cost. Elevate your style at The Outlet by Sartor Heyman, where luxury and affordability meet. Downtown at 12th and O or online at sartorheyman.com.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
If I'm going to watch a man run around, I want to see him run around in tights, in shoulder pads, in helmet, mouthpieces, and gritting their teeth, squinting their eyes, some people closing their eyes, and smashing into each other. That's what I want to see. That's football. That's football. That's football. Don't nobody want to see no we shall overcome type football. They want to see some rock'em sock'em hit you in the mouth football box. Exciting football.
This is the Don't Punt Hour on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Demorne Pierson-El.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment of the Don't Punt Hour. Harrison Arns on the ones and twos back at the 1040 Ticket Studio. Shout out to all you guys for listening. And again, 402-464-5685. We will have Nuclear Heat up next with Jake Bachman and Augie. They'll hop on, talk some pro wrestling. And The Rock is back. So if you're in for that news, be sure to stick around for another hour. But Demorne Pierson-El, we got a little bit of time left. And I don't know if I've ever asked you this. I think I know where you'd be. But if you've been on social media, there has been a massive wave against 90s basketball and the Jordan versus LeBron GOAT conversation. I'm seeing people straight out say Michael Jordan couldn't even go left. I can cherry pick some videos and try to show LeBron James and say, you can't go left. It's absolutely ludicrous to me, but where do you stand on the greatest of all time and how close or how far away are the two?
They're both GOATs.
Okay, we're talking Michael LeBron.
They're both GOATs. You know, Michael was the GOAT of his time. And, you know, LeBron is the GOAT, you know, of our time. You know, Jordan has done some things that a lot of people haven't. LeBron has done some things that, you know, a lot of people haven't and won't.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. They're not, you know, wants to say who's any better because times are differently. How they were playing then, the recovery and the stuff and the technology that they had for players back then is completely different to how they're playing now. The game, I don't think is not as physical or not as, you know, harsh on the body as it was when Jordan was playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the NBA game, you know, changed when Grant Hill, you know, started his style of playing and everything like that. They couldn't guard Grant Hill. They couldn't guard, you know, Tracy McGrady, Kobe Bryant, you know, those types of, you know, guards and everything like that. But it's just hard to put things past Mike. I understand LeBron got the 40, got the 40K points. I get that. That's remarkable. It's just I don't think he can't be past Mike. That's just my opinion.
I'm with you there. I just think Michael Jordan is still the GOAT. And I know I could get the text line on this one. Unknown texter, LeBron is the GOAT of flopping, and that's it. Period.
I mean, they people, a lot of people, still try to emulate, his game on the court and off the court. Like, a lot of stuff that are in place now was because of Jordan.
Exactly.
So, it's hard to go against that. Not to say that LeBron didn't change the game. He did in his own way and everything like that, but I don't think he's impacted the game like Jordan did. Not to say that what he's done hasn't been influential or anything like that. But I mean, from a business standpoint, from a shoe standpoint, from a brand, the LeBron, the Jordan brand, holistically. And I mean, LeBron, 11 straight finals with teams. He's done some things that, people haven't. So I still go Jordan 1.
Jordan's my 1 too. And it does come down to what do you value? The real frustration I get is the complete discredit of the 90s. It's like the modern NBA. If you love the modern NBA and LeBron today, it flat out doesn't exist without the Clyde Drexlers, without the Hakeem, without, even throw in Yao Ming.
They don't even have big men that are moving that were moving like that now. Like, their big men are taking shots and whatnot. So the game has evolved. Like, you don't see the Shaqs, you don't see the Dwights. Really, Embiid can be way more dominant force if he chooses to on the inside, but he's not. I think Joker does it a little bit more. But I mean, he has an all-around game to where it doesn't matter. He don't have to be, in the box and whatnot.
Yeah, we got another one. Jordan, unless you live under a rock. And if you want to be a LeBron fan, again, that's not my beef. It's the blatant disrespect of the 90s weren't that good, playing a bunch against your mailman. If you just watched any of the tape, that's not true. Go look at Hakeem Olajuwon and tell him he's a mailman. Good luck. You don't want to do that. You don't want to go look at Charles Barkley and tell him you're a mailman, man. You weren't even that good. 90s, bunch of scrub.
Dennis Rodman, the closest thing to Dennis Rodman of more so in the recent day and age of who we had was Ron Artest.
And they call it 92 Dream Team for a reason. Trying to find a better dream team. If you got better dream team out there, you can pick the LeBron one with LeBron, Kobe, and all those guys. I'm still taking Jordan and that 92 dream team with Barkley, Bird, Johnson, Pippen. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Malone on there too from the Jazz. Good luck. That's all I'm saying. If you want to take LeBron, that's fine. But the blatant disrespect of the 90s, I mean, that is.
Come on now,
how those players would wait
respect your elders for a reason. Now, don't. And I think a lot of people might forget just because of what they've been seeing. But turn on the tape. Turn on the tape.
Turn on the tape. I like it. We'll wrap on that. And again, we kind of wrapped up the show with DeMornay Pierson-El. We talked some Husker football. We talked some NBA, Troy Dannon, and as well as the greatest of all time in basketball. Appreciate you guys for listening, but don't go anywhere. Nuclear Heat up next. Shout out to DeMornay Pierson-El for being the host as always. And we will talk to you guys again tomorrow night.
Oh, come on, get that stuff on.